We're good? All right, cool. I'll treat this a little bit more like a seminar running through stuff. Nick invited me out here, and instead of like, I do seminars all over. Like in the next 60 days, I'm in Louisville, Austin. I think I'm in Kansas City doing this. And coming here, one, because obviously good friends with you guys, and two, just promoting our Patreon. So if you like how I teach and how Nick teaches, we have our Patreon. And please go support that. You can support it for free. You can go there, all sorts of free videos. And then if we do a good job, then subscribe that way.
What's it called?
Gentle Art Lifestyle. That's a really good point. Gentle Art Lifestyle is the name of the Patreon. Okay, so we're going to go over guillotines. Who wants to be the first person to get strangled? It's, by the way, yeah, Ben. It's painless, precise, and playful, so you don't have to worry about like getting hurt. Maybe by some people that aren't used to this, but we'll get it down. Okay, just go down.
How?
Just like that.
Okay.
Yep. We're going to face this way, though. You don't have to face the corner. This isn't grade school. All right. So we're going to talk about strangling, okay? And you'll hear me say strangling as opposed to choke because words matter. There's a difference. Choking is like you choke on a chicken bone or, you get something, right? You choke on something. Strangling, what we're doing in here is we're trying to stop the blood flow from going to the person's brain. That's a strangle, okay? It's not okay. You stay right there. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to strangle the person. Now, when you strangle somebody, almost certainly you want to compress everything in the neck. So everybody think of when you were a kid and you were playing with a hose. Or, your friend was looking at the hose and you were playing with it. And you wanted to stop the hose. What would you do? You would kink it. It's the same thing with the hoses in your neck. You're going to try to kink the hose. Okay? So if if his neck was a hose and I get around like this or whatever I happen to do, if I pull up, that's not kinking the hose, right? I want to make sure that I'm able to kink everything down. So let's put this to the test, okay? Ben, I'm going to apologize in advance. Okay, this first one may hurt a little bit, but I'm going to go slow. All right?
Great.
Okay, so if I have something here and I get excited, look, I'm under his chin, awesome, and I decide to go like this, how does that feel?
Hurts underneath the jaw.
Hurts underneath the jaw, right? But if I have that same thing and I say, okay, I have this, still same connection, right? Nothing. But I decide, okay, I'm going to compress down. Does that hurt?
I mean, not necessarily, but it's getting tighter.
So what happens is your trach kind of retracts. I mean, you could do it to yourself. You could all just sit there, go like this. Oh, God, that sucks. And then you go like this. It's not the same thing. Okay? So when we do these guillotines, all we're going to need is a connection with this neck, just like this. And then we're going to figure out how to compress your partner's jaw to their chest. It's never going to happen, right? You have an arm there or a hand there or a forearm or whatever. It's never going to happen. However, that is the goal, okay? Everybody kind of get that? How many people here know guillotines? Like if I were to say, oh, I know what a guillotine joke is, would you raise your hand and say, yeah? Yeah, okay. Yeah, everybody kind of figures this is kind of a trick question. So I get it, okay? Most of the ways that you learn it are that pulling up motion, okay? Every time that you do any sort of strangle now, I want you to think of compression, not extension. In fact, if you get one thing from this class, compression, not extension is going to be that one thing, okay? So if I have a rear naked strangle, right, if I'm here and I go like this, okay, you survive here, yeah? Yeah, you'll be okay. Now, I'm not going to use my arms anymore. All I'm going to do is just go down. You feel a difference? That is going to put him out. We're going to kink that hose where the other one is going to hurt his neck. Now, if I was super strong and I come up and I'm ripping his head off, yeah, I can compress enough, but you don't want to rely on that. Plus, most of you like each other. right? So we don't want to hurt each other, I think. I guess I don't know. Yeah. I've come into a situation and now I'm not sure. No, like, I hate that person. Okay. So we are going to start off with, now that we have that knowledge, now that we know that we want to kink the hose, we're going to do that. All right. So now, Ben, you're going to go into like a shit turtle.
Shit turtle.
If anybody
Not a
was
ninja turtle.
if not a ninja turtle, just a shit turtle, frame against the, yep, that'll work. What I don't want anybody to do when we're learning this, once I start adding weight to the back of his head, don't follow it. Don't allow your forehead to hit the mat. Okay? The reason it's a good defense, but as we're learning the finishing mechanic of the guillotine, I don't want you to inadvertently set up a defense. Okay? So you're going to have us up. There you go, just like that. Okay, armpit on the back of the head. That's the first thing. At camp, I don't think anybody in here was at camp besides Nick and Brittany. Definitely not Ben.
Thanks.
We had a whole class on just this as a position. Armpit on the back of the head is a wonderful position because no matter what he does, he has to deal with my weight on the top of his head. So his movement sucks when he's got a person attached to him. Okay? So armpit on the back of the head, that doesn't mean here. That doesn't mean here. That means weight. Okay? Our arm, our strangle arm, is going to be the same arm that you're putting the armpit on the back of his head. We're going to come through and just make a connection with the neck. Okay? So I can do this really nice. Armpit on the back of the head, come through. That's it. Doesn't hurt. No? Should be good? Okay. Armpit on the back of the head, come through, make that connection. We're going to catch as high as we can on our chest. So picture his head's here. We're going to come around as high as we can. So belly button, that's not so high. Above the chest, yeah, that's where I want to be. Why do we do that? Well, let's just look. That's a lot of space for a neck to survive. That's much less space, yeah? Okay, it's because we want to compress everything. Up top. Now, you'll notice when I'm here, my elbow is pointing out. That's a real baby. All right. So you'll notice that my elbow is pointing out. Almost certainly, unless I'm being offensive, where do I want my elbows? Home. Beautiful. Okay. So it's the same thing here. My elbow's pointing away. That's not home. So once I have that neck, I'm going to bring it back, and this is going to be home. The secondary hand is always a helper hand. It stops my hand from going like this. So the grip you use, you can do a bunch of different stuff, but we're going to do basic. I'm just going to grab wherever my watch would go. If I wore a watch on my strangle hand, I'm just going to grab that watch and hold it. Okay? Bringing both elbows back home. Most likely, you would get a tap here. Okay? However, once we get this and we're attached, then it's all about our body to try to figure out how to compress the head. Okay? So notice I'm to the side. I haven't said anything about my legs. We'll get to that in a second. Give yourself a good frame. Like, that'll work. So when I bring my elbows back home, do not go like this. Don't fall with me. Try to keep strong posture. Okay? Armpit on the back head, come through, make a nice connection. Actually, can you take off your gis? Just a connection-wise, you're going to feel it better. I just realized the second I'm coming through, I'm like, it's not that you can't do it, no gi, it's just you'll be able to see better and feel better. And all right. And I would like you like this. Yes, beautiful. Okay. Armpit on the back of the head, come through. I don't care what happens with this arm. Just make a connection. I catch as high as I can without going like this. Catch as high as I can. Grab your wristwatch, and then both elbows are coming back home. If you're doing this right, and he stays in good posture, like he's going to, almost certainly I'm going to get a tap. Okay? And this will feel really strange if you've never done it before. Coming across, catch, grab my watch. Okay? Now I'm going to bring my elbows back home. You okay?
Yep.
That's it. Now, if that didn't go back into your good posture, if he falls, we'll talk about all that stuff. But for right now, he's going to be a good partner so we can understand what we're doing. Okay? Armpit on the back of the head, come through. You see how I have a connection. If you have a gap there, it's going to be much harder. Connection, catch as high as I can. Look at my shoulder. Here's a little trick that sometimes I forget to say. I'm not like this with my shoulder. I'm catching like this. And then when I bring my elbows back home, I'm bringing them back home, my shoulder's still kind of up. Think about it as like a scissors. Like this is the base of the scissors. So I want that head up here. So then when I bring my elbows home and back, it really compresses everything. If the head was just here, it's not as much compression, right? Like you wouldn't cut a paper there. It may cut, but it's going to be way better at the base of the scissors, right? Does that one land? Sometimes I use that. All right. So armpit on the back head, come through, make a connection, catch as high as you can. Now, once we're here, all we're going to do is bring both of our elbows back home. Gets pretty tight, yeah? If I'm not getting a tap at that point, then I'm just going to add just a little bit of weight through my armpit. So I'm going to let go so I don't strangle him. Through my armpit to compress his head down. Using weight, not strength. Once I'm locked in, my arms are done. I don't need to do anything else. Armpit on the back head, come through, make a connection, catch as high as you can. Our elbows back home, and then just drop some weight. Okay, then we talk with the partner. How was that?
It's good.
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Did it hurt?
Didn't necessarily hurt. It was more the blood cutting off.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah, and that's what we're going for. We're not looking for that trach feeling that you're going to have to drink out of a straw for the next 3 days or that roboneck. We're looking to put people out. Compression, not extension. Okay? So let's do this with our partners. Now find a partner that's similar stature as you, as close as you can get, and let's give it a shot. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we had some challenges. And I taught it this way a little bit different. I normally start in the way that I'm going to show now, and I'm going to see if this helps the idea of compression. Okay? So yeah, you're going to sit up. He's done this so many fucking times that he already knows. Okay. Or at least he just happened to sit in exactly the same position. I don't know. Did you know what I was going to do?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, just naturally. We're there, bro. Okay, so he's sitting. You could sit like this, or you could sit on your butt. Here's going to be the trick. We're going to do everything the same, except this person cannot go past 90 degrees. They have to go, you have to be a little bit obtuse, right? Obtuse? That's math. I know math.
Not acute.
Not acute. Obtuse. Okay, so everything's the same, right? Armpit on the back of the head, coming through, making a connection, catching as high on my chest as I can. When you're catching as high as you can, remember there's always 2 ways to skin a cat, right? If I want my hand to touch my chest, and it's right here, I can bring my hand to my chest. Seems simple, right? If I want my hand to touch my chest, I can bring my chest to my hand, right? Many times we think about this and not this. As we are here, if I catch, now I could force this on his neck. And if this were a competition or I didn't like him, I may. But also, what I'm going to do is drop my body so my hand catches higher. Additionally, if you have some mountains there, if you can get them up over the mountains, it's super, super tight because then it's hard to slide down. Okay? So you may be here and then move your body out just a little bit and then catch again. Everybody see that? Okay. Now when we're going to finish, and we're going to be very, very careful on this, We're going to make sure Nick's at least 90 degrees. We don't want him to be acute, right? So now I'm going to bring my elbow back home. I'm going to do it really light. And I'm going to get my hips really close as I bring my elbow back home. That's it. Okay? Make sense? So I really want us to get this painless, precise, and playful way of doing this down. So here's another way to accomplish that. One person sitting. If you get to this point, bend to like a 45 degree. If you get to this point, elbows home, you can still probably get it, but as you add weight, their body is going to go with it. He's going to hinge at his hips, and then this is going to happen. Which, by the way, is fine if we're rolling. I'll get to that, but that's not what I want right now. Okay? So the partner is just going to be at least 90 degrees, and then as you finish it, you're going to get your hip nice and close. Okay? Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. By a show of hands, who at least executed one clean, mostly painless strangle? Okay, that's 60, 70% of the room. That's not so bad. Before that, none of you had except for him. And probably Brittany. Sorry, Brittany. Okay, so we're making progress. What challenges did we run into?
Height difference.
Height difference. What are we playing, basketball?
A little bit.
Okay, well, tell me.
It was getting just kind of as you described it, Nick, trying to get the head to compress a little bit to get my arm around. So almost starting with a little bit more of the chicken wing over his back, and then sliding my elbow around to create that space. Get the head out of the way.
I can honestly say I've never thought about a height difference being a problem. So maybe I need to understand the question more. So
Colin was
I'm
like,
dumb, and I'm not figuring out the right
nobody said, trust me, nobody said you were dumb. I may have the problem, and I just never thought about it this way. So I really do want to understand.
And what I saw Colin was in the position here, and Ben was like sitting, and it was hard for him to reach. So then he stood up, and then he did this, and then he was trying to finish like something like this.
I see.
And then we worked on weight on the back of the neck to get our hand in here too.
So that's absolutely, stay there, Colin. So that's, you can move. So go, yeah, good posture. If I'm sitting down, yeah. Remember 2 ways, right? Like, okay, I can't get up there. Okay, I can move up there. Armpit on the back head, come through, catching. I moved my body, right? And then even if he stays in good posture, I know I need to get that, okay, well, I guess I could drive forward, and as I go, he's going to start to compress, right? Like his neck, his neck is starting to compress, right? Like if I do that. Additionally, he may be super strong, but what happens? You're a strong dude. Yeah. So I'm not going to strangle you, but I am going to add weight pretty suddenly. Okay. So brace yourself a little bit. So instead of just, okay, he's holding most of my weight, right? But what happens if I change the angle of my weight? Right? Now almost all my weight is going through. And that kind of sucks, right? So I see what you're saying, like about like reaching. We just have to position our body in a little bit better of a way. You guys had dual questions.
Well, we were just sometimes catching the trach and sometimes catching a compression, and it was like it's just a matter of maybe an inch or like the way that we had our arms. That was like,
I felt like when I was higher up on my chest, I was getting her trach.
Mm-hmm. So for the most part, there's exceptions to every rule that I say. So I hate to say, like, my students get angry because I say it depends all the time. Like, they ask me a question, I'm like, oh, it depends. They're like, shut up. For what you did, so if you were to get through or higher, you see how it kind of changes the angle of my arm? What I really want is a connection with the neck in a perpendicular nature to the jaw.
So like this.
Correct. Anywhere. There are exceptions. So you can go through and do like almost a reverse rear naked strangle on it. And those are great, super deep, right? But for the most part, I would like something perpendicular to the jaw. And if they happen to move their jaw, I happen to move with them as an in general. Now, the trach versus compression, almost certainly if you're hitting trach, this is what you're doing with your arms. You're doing this. Now, can you do this? Sure, you can. And against somebody that's really, really good, or I'm in a competition or something, I'm going to do both. However, in here now, I'd like you to really focus on making that connection and then doing the thing you're not used to. Most monkeys understand that if you get this, okay, I want this arm to come up. Forget about that. Just make the connection and get your body accustomed to doing what it should do. Other questions? Okay, let's talk about legs. So any submission, I need to attach to my legs, attach to my arms, break with my hips. So I want all submissions to come from my core, and I need to kill rotation. Okay, and this is on, it's not just guillotines, it's everything. If he doesn't kill my rotation, who was at my last class when they were gone? Remember that put me in a rear naked strangle and I just rotated, right? That was, or that's everywhere, on everything. So I would like to figure out how I'm gonna attach with my arms. Everybody, that's what we've just been doing. I'm gonna figure out how to stop his rotation so I can finish this strangle, okay? So armpit on the back head, come through, make my connection, elbows home, all that kind of stuff, all right? Now, you can decide what you wanna do. I almost never, in fact, for me, I'll say never. I'm never pulling full guard like this. And this is probably, I don't know if you've learned it like this here, but I am quite literally never doing this for many reasons. But the biggest one is, how do I compress through the back of his head down? Well, now it's just my arm going like this, and I'm not that strong. Compared to him in a good posture, I'm just never going to be able to do this. I want weight compressing down. Does that make sense? So I am almost always falling to the strangle side arm. Okay? So depending on what you want to do, that could mean half guard. That could mean no guard. But what we're going to do right now is just a half guard. Okay? So we have just a, let me rotate just a little bit, just to cover. Okay? Now everything's going to be the same. Armpit on the back head, come through, make a connection. Elbows are going to come home. And I'm going to figure out how to compress his chin to his chest. Here's the trick, okay? Once you're attached, you should be good. It should be checkmate in 1, checkmate in 2. However, the way that you apply weight matters. So, stand up for a second. Give me your wrist, Nick. Just go like that, like up. Yeah, yeah, perfect. Is that going to be good? Yeah, perfect. Directionally, if I want his wrist to, let go for a second. If I want his wrist to do this, the first direction of force that I need is almost at a 90-degree angle, right? Everybody would agree that this is the case. So I'm going to apply that. Well, now, if I continue that same direction, it's going to go right off, right? I want this wrist to touch the opposite side. So I start off here, but then I need to change and change and change and change until eventually it's down and compressing his wrist in. Everybody understand? Everybody with me so far? Yes? Yeah? Okay. That's what we need to do with his head. But it's not as obvious as my finger in his wrist. So that compression comes from my body, and I have to understand that it's going through his head, and I'm trying to get his jaw to his chest. Okay? Armpit on the back head, come through. I'm not flat on my butt. Strangle side. I catch. Same like we've been doing, elbows home. Now I'm using my outside leg to figure out how to move my body to get that compression. Armpit on the back head, come through. Outside leg helps my hips move. Okay? He can't rotate because, or you can't just fall over because this one's covered. Does that make sense? What you want to avoid is something along this. So I think I'm doing something. What's my elbow doing? It's open. I catch myself on my elbow. Keep that elbow home. Worst case scenario, fall to your shoulder. Okay? Should we try that? All right, let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. A lot of great conversation there, which I love to see. And your training partners are who you learn from the most, right? Like, after almost every time that I strangle somebody, I say, oh, was that okay? Was that good? And I'm not being like, I really want to know, because if it was trachea or it was a crank or whatever, like I want to know because I want to get better, right? And so that communication back and forth is wonderful. What problems do we have there with our legs? Yes?
So when you had him in bottom half guard, we just weren't sure which side you wanted to choke on, which arm. If I'm choking with the same arm, or if I'm going opposite of my body. Does that make sense?
Yep. So you're always going to cheat to the hip. You're going to be a one cheeker to the hip that you're strangling with. Okay? So that means that I'm cheating to that side. So the only way that this actually makes sense is to get a half guard would be with that same leg. So essentially, half your body is doing the work and the other half is helping that part do the work. This is holding. This is attaching, strangling. Your hips are trying to move and find the right direction. My feet are helping my hips move. And this hand is making sure that my hand stays high up. Okay? I did see quite a few people that started flat. And if you start flat, I can get here. I can get here, but this is as far as down as I can go because my spine's there, right? So I want to be able to add weight. So I need to fall off to the side, right? So now that adds weight, and I don't want my elbow to hit the mat because then that opens up my elbow, right? So keeping everything in, and then I sometimes just say, okay, I'll fall to my shoulder. Now, when I do that, you see that his neck kind of turns, and you might have felt that yourself, right? If you're doing a good job with the elbow and you fall, his neck's going to turn. Still compress. Everything's going to be okay. That turning also helps take the strength out of his neck. It's very difficult to keep good posture as there's a human being that's falling on the back of your head. Make sense? All right. So, we're here. Elbows are home. I'm figuring out how to compress, cheating to that side, never being flat. Another thing that I saw is instead of collapsing, thinking about how directionally to take that weight, I saw some of this. Okay? Everybody, judging by the view of it, everybody understands why that may not be the best, right? Somebody tell me why.
Because his weight is going to be on him.
That's part of it, yeah.
Put his head into the mat then.
Mm-hmm.
Really get yourself into the mat.
If his head goes into the mat, how can I compress it through the mat? Right? And to your point, if his weight goes on me, a good defense for him, if he flattens me out, now I'm still back with my elbow flared, I can't compress, and he's got a ground there. I may be able to hurt him with the trach, but that's not what we do to each other. Right? So think about directionally how you start to fall. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, we're going to get to arm in guillotine. It's exactly the same. There is nothing different about it. For some reason, the people that got the normal guillotine will struggle with this one, but it's literally exactly the same. Okay? So this we'll call the naked guillotine, right? Boop. I have his neck. This, I have an arm in. All right? Arm ins are probably worse because I have another way of killing his rotation. This arm then acts to stop the rotation of Nick, right? And to get a submission, I need to kill his rotation. I need to be attached to something. Okay? So armpit on the back head, come through, catch as high as you can. This hand, he's got a shoulder there. Oh no. So instead of trying to force it in there to be the helper or go much lower, which I don't want, I'm just going to say, okay, and go around. Most of the time when I go around, it's like this. Again, I wouldn't be flat. Around the arm, and instead of being here, I'm just grabbing here and then bringing them both back home. So I'm trapping that arm in there with it, bringing it back home. And then literally everything else is still the same. That's it. So armpit on the back of the head, come through. I'm automatically cheating if I can. Make a connection. Oh shit, his shoulder's against my chest. Okay. Coming around. Let's do a different angle. This. Okay, everybody see that? Everything's the same. The helper hand goes around, and it's not lazy either. It wants to bring everything back home. Okay? Now my elbows come home, and I just figure out how to use my body to compress. Don't overcomplicate it. I've taught this so many times. I know this is where people start to, I just can't get it. It's the same. It's just, oh, that arm's there. Cool. Okay? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. You guys did significantly better than most groups do on the arm in. Yeah. What questions did you have there? Yes.
So sometimes when we would like fall and hit the mat, it would shift a little bit and then you'd lose it.
Sure.
Keeping it tighter.
Yeah, I mean, attach, break. If that attachment moves and it creates space, that is space that they can take advantage of. You'll get used to how to make adjustments, but I can't tell you what you could have done in that scenario because I didn't see that particular scenario, if that makes sense. Yeah. What else? Okay, who was able to execute a painless, precise, and playful guillotine with the arm in? By a raise of hands. You did it on me. Yeah, definitely. You weren't able to get one on him.
We were about to.
You're about to.
Yeah,
Okay. Did you get the regular one?
Yeah.
You got the regular one. Okay, that's good. Okay, who was able to get a clean strangle, either arm in or a regular one? Raise your hands. Okay, that's almost all of the class. And I know you did one, so he didn't raise his hand, but yeah, you were nodding. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's a good improvement. So at the beginning of class, I said, if you take one thing from this class, it's going to be this. Does anybody remember what that was? Wow, look at that.
Your handwriting's so good.
Is it really behind me? Come on!
None of us looked up there.
Unbelievable. That's hilarious. I did not notice that. Well, now I know why you guys are so good. Because you have Brittany here. Okay. So we have like 5 minutes. And I'm going to just show I'm going to rapid fire ways I get to that armpit on the back of head position. Because you may be like, well, this seems unreasonable. Like, how am I going to get this armpit to the back of the head? This is ridiculous, right? So I'm just going to rapid fire some of these, and maybe you can play with it while you guys are rolling or whatever the case may be. You can message me at the Gentle Art Lifestyle Patreon, all the questions that you're going to have, but let's give it a shot. So, so I want to go down like guard. We're going to play guard. So let's say, how fancy do I want to get up first? Let's say he's got half guard. What is he trying to do a half guard a lot of times? Probably an underhook. It's reasonable, right? Most people would say that's reasonable. He doesn't need to do this, but it doesn't matter to me either. The second that he goes for that, I'm going to hip switch. Where's my armpit? On his head. Okay. Let's say we're in side control. Okay, got my arm here. What is he trying to go for? Almost certainly an underhook. It doesn't matter if it's all, as long as it's on this side, awesome. As he goes for the underhook, I let him get a little bit. Where is my armpit? Okay, let's say we're standing. This is one of my favorites. Beat a few people like this. We're standing. Oh, where's my armpit? All right, let's say we're at scramble and he turtles up. Even a good turtle, not a shit turtle. This is a good turtle. And many people play like this. But where's my armpit? Not on the back of his head, right? However, what happens if I do this? Sorry, buddy. Armpit on the back of the head. Okay. It's all over. Guard pass. Oh, I'm okay. Control that opposite side hip. Hip switch. Armpit to the back of the head. It's just, I have an app that's running for it constantly. I try to get weight to the back of the head. Even if I'm not going to go for a guillotine, at least it slows a stronger opponent down because they have to carry my weight. Very difficult. And an easy attachment. Make sense? All right. I think since time flies and you're having fun, I'll ask if there's any other questions. Yeah.
Yes.
2.
How do we maintain our friendships after guillotine?
Yeah, don't come up with your arms. If you come up with your arms, like every time that you guys felt a trachea, it's because your arms are going like this. I can almost guarantee it. If you come up with your arms and because you need to finish it, then you lose friends. If you compress, you might put your friend out, but he'll be happy about it afterwards. He or she will be happy about it. Oh, thank you. I can, yeah. So don't get all overzealous and try to just rip something. That's how you keep your friends. Yeah.
Are there any details you change for mounted guillotines?
It's still compression. Go down real quick. So you're never going to guess where my armpit is. The only cool thing about mounted guillotines is that this secondary hand, so remember, secondary hand's always a helper hand, but in what way it helps changes. So armpit in the back head, still make that connection, but instead of needing this helper hand to not allow this to happen, right? I can plant with my chest and use gravity. And then I can use that helper hand and say, okay, compress, and then drag. Does that make sense?
Are you using your hips then too?
You're always using your hips to finish something. In what way? It depends. So in that scenario, I'm driving my hips down because I want to pin him to kill his rotation and then compress his jaw to the chest. So it's the same, but there are little details that I like to do that. You could finish normal too. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Well, I didn't do it at the beginning of class, but I'm going to do it at the end. I really enjoy taking a moment of gratitude. I'm grateful to be able to coach jiu-jitsu in front of all of you guys and the cool community that you guys have built here. So I feel really grateful. And so let's just take a moment and whatever you're grateful for, let's think about that. All right. I think you guys roll now, so you guys can use that. Don't kill each other. And Gentle Art Lifestyle Patreon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.